All right, so with the sell-off today, I thought I'd finally do another fireside chat. We've had such remarkable run these past few months off of a horrific sell-off precipitated by the COVID close down. So I thought I'd just give a little chat about what's going on and what our thinking is going into the end of this year. The big thing, of course, is this kind of shows you just can't time the market, right? It's important to think long term as investors and not get caught up in the day to day. So today, the pundits are shouting about, oh, is this the beginning of a massive sell off? And possibly it is, right? We don't know. And we've had just a remarkable, our US stocks are actually up on the year this year, which is incredible to consider where we've been with a horrific sell off in March. Our international stocks are still down. Our bonds are still down due to the defaults that we've had. And I suspect that our basic economic outlook right now is that we're going to have a continued recovery. One thing I learned from my trip across the country this summer, and I actually had 5 states I've never been to, and I hit 2 on the way this time with South Dakota and Wisconsin. And what I saw really from visiting Cleveland to Chicago to Madison, Wisconsin to Sioux Falls, and seeing just a beautiful countryside, and to Billings, and then on out to the northwestern part of Montana, was that everybody's masked up, everybody's being safe. Even the bikers, I mean, we're right in the middle of the Sturgis Rally and seeing the Badlands and Mount Rushmore. Many bikers were masked up, and people taking precautions. But what I do know and what I do believe is that we're not going back to a close down. The economy is going to recover. America is resilient, and we are going to come back. It is going to take a lot of time to get 20 plus million people back to work. And I suspect it's going to be a lot like the 2% GDP, very slow growth that we saw post the financial crisis. But remember, over that past decade, we saw extraordinary growth and very good portfolio returns up until this COVID downturn. So we continue to find value in what you've seen me do for my portfolio or for all of our clients is continue to add to our positions to a lot of stocks that just have not rallied that much this year and near as much as the Fat Man stocks. Now, I sent out a blog earlier, probably about a month or so ago, about avoiding the Fat Man stocks. And of course, the Fat Man stocks, and what I've named a Fat Man is Facebook, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, which Google, and Netflix. Those stocks have seen, along with some others, have seen extraordinary runs, and there's been no common sense really going on. I mean, in terms of valuation, and it's been this fear of missing out, which has driven those stocks even higher. Where people, and I'd get emails from clients, geez, what are we doing? Is Tesla going to go higher? And I have remarkable respect for Elon Musk. And what he's done, as I have for Jeff Bezos, but there's no way I'm going to pay that kind of multiple for those companies, especially when they don't pay our clients a dividend. The interesting thing about this year is dividend stocks are down significantly this year, but again, our U.S. stocks are actually higher, 6% as of yesterday's close, and we pulled back a little bit today, but not near the 5% decline as I'm making this video that the NASDAQ is down, and that's why. Is this the beginning of a rotation? I think so. I think eventually, these things kind of go on for a long time. We could finally see a rotation from the the tech stocks to energy or financials or other sectors, industrials that haven't performed near as well. And certainly, we earlier this week our Apple position had run up to on our balanced portfolio is 1.7%, but we reduced it back down to 1% because of valuation concerns I had, and then to use it to buy other companies where I'm finding a lot of value for us. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wrote a few notes down. I always just write like a few things down, just kind of go off the cuff on these videos and just kind of think about what I'm talking about today. But I really did want to push the point that my drive across America, in addition to it being just a beautiful country, having always seen as a former pilot from the air, it was incredible to see it from the ground on that drive, and just the immense resources and bounty that this country has. We're just so fortunate here, and again, I know that there's a lot of concern out there right now, and but I believe fervently that we're going to, and cautiously optimistic that we're going to continue to recover into next year. As far as the politics are concerned. Now we're starting to get a lot of worry. I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat, as many of you know. I always say I'm a Federalist, and my party died with Alexander Hamilton. And I'm very thankful for the play of Hamilton. When they were talking about taking him off the $10 bill, I was distraught because Hamilton's had such an impact on our country. It's been so beneficial in so many ways. But as a Federalist without a party, I'm able to look at things objectively on a line-by-line basis and not have to get caught up in just supporting the party. And right now, of course, you're seeing a lot of noise on both sides, and I'm not going to tell you which way I'm going to vote. And as a capitalist, I don't care really who wins this election, because the country goes in waves one way or another. And mathematically, oftentimes the best outcome is a Democratic president with a Republican Congress. Now, the Republican Senate is up for grabs in a few states, including Montana and North Carolina. So those are some important races where I think gridlock would be likely best for the country. Of course, we've gotten a lot of benefit from the tax reform and deregulation, and this is all good for capitalism and continued growth for American companies. But with that said, don't get 5 years from now, it doesn't matter too much who's going to be president and what the Congress looks like. Great American companies, great international companies like Nestle and Danone will continue to grow and find outlets to sell their products. Hopefully, as a patriot, we worry about these things as Americans, and that'll drive us to vote to affect the change that we want America to see it go the directions we want. But as capitalists and as investors, we shouldn't let our politics cloud our investment decisions. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of noise, and you're seeing it all over LinkedIn and social media, and you're hearing it from friends, and families can't even speak to one another at this time of year. But let's just take a deep breath. I was buoyed by one Montana town, seeing a lot of Trump supporters on one side of the street and other anti-Trump and Biden supporters on the other side of the street, getting along peacefully. It's okay for us to express our opinions peacefully. It's okay for us to also have. It's not like one side or the other. As somebody who is going to be a Catholic priest, I can understand the caring side and the caring side culture of wanting to take care of community, and that being pushed often to the most important side. But as a former Marine, I also understand the freedom side, which drives me to places like Montana. And those two things, they can be compatible. We can care about Black Lives Matters, but we can also care about safety and security and supporting the police. Those things aren't necessarily not compatible. So again, as investors, the good news is that McDonald's is going to keep selling hamburgers. Pepsi is going to keep selling Pepsi and high fructose corn syrup and bad stuff that we shouldn't eat too much of, as are a lot of the companies that we own. So try not to let yourself get wrapped up in the emotion today and driven to TV, especially as we're all kind of hunkered down in this COVID world that we live in right now. So don't get too wrapped up in that part of it. Look instead to see how the economy's changed. There are certain things that are permanently changed. I might not be wearing pants right now and you not even know it, right? This is a different world that we're living in. We're all living in a world that's changed online. Corporations realize, I don't need to send my people out as much. They're saving money on business travel. We can communicate without having to be face-to-face as much. These are some benefits to corporations. Businesses are also realizing they don't need as much real estate. Some cities are going to be possibly irreparably and permanently altered. Seeing Chicago was open and young people are out. Same with Cleveland. But New York is shut down and continues to be shut down. In my opinion, this is a failure of leadership on a lot of parts to keep the people safe and allow businesses to continue to grow and foster capitalism and take care of themselves so that people who aren't necessarily afraid or have pre-existing conditions can go out and live their lives again. But businesses realize they don't need those large facilities anymore to bring people together. And a lot of people are enjoying in addition to their dogs enjoying them, being home more often and being able to work from home. And so maybe they only go in the office 2 days a week, which is why we're not investing in REITs. And I don't feel like REITs are still a value, except for healthcare REITs, like companies like Welltower, which we own. So the world has changed, and I'm thinking about it from that perspective and how it's changed and how we're going to make changes in our investments going forward. And you'll notice a theme to that from our investment perspective. But we're certainly not going to chase the hot stocks right now that are the stay-at-home themes like a Zoom or wherever that are just shooting through the moon, because there are plenty of other competitors like Cisco, which we do own, or GoToMeeting, which can also perform those types of services. So it's not like they're the only company that's going to be able to do that. So the big picture, I think, is, again, for us to kind of take a breath, not react on one day any more than what we saw this year. We can't time the market. Think longer term, not let the politics influence our decisions that are long-term decisions. Our dividends haven't been impacted throughout this year. Our clients have continued to collect a very nice stream of income from their portfolios, even during a horrific downturn. So that's an important thing to remember. None of our clients had to go back to work or change their lifestyles if they didn't panic, and the great majority of them did not. So as always, we appreciate your trust and concerns, and if you have any, please don't hesitate to call me. Always working, still working 80 hours a week, so if you need me on a Friday night, please just call, and that's what we're here for. And thank you for your continued trust. Hang in there, and be well and be safe. Bye-bye.